Ready? Okay, we are going live, baby girl. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for clicking on. As always, greatly appreciated. It is Eyes Open on the American Doofus channel. I thought I finally had those sound notifications turned off. I hope they're not coming through. I hope it's just coming through uh, on my end and not through the stream. Chris will be joining us um, very soon here. We'll be talking about some things. And in the meantime, what I want to start out with tonight, um, I'm going to play last night's episode for those of you that have not, did not see it. It's only about 5 minutes long. And here we go. There, as you can see from the screen, Israel attacked Iran. All right. Um, allegedly, because Israel hasn't officially verified that. The verifications have come from Marco Rubio and from some other U.S. officials, but not from Israel itself. Okay, there's all kinds of speculation. There's all kinds of panic going on. There's going to be an escalation. This is going to be, um, the end of the world as we know it. What if it's not? What if I'm going to be right here? And I say RELAX, relax. Yeah, Frankie Goes to Hollywood song, relax. But no, just relax. Consider this. Now we know Iran is pretending this didn't happen. We know that United States proposed to Iran to let Israel do a strike, a safe, a face-saving strike. What if this is that maneuver? What if Israel goes in, inflicts minor damage, relatively speaking, and there's no retaliation from Iran because Iran claims it didn't happen. Iran claims there were just some drones and they shot them all down. Okay, what this does, Israel shows Iran it can be hit at any time, and Iran can tell its people Israel can do nothing to them. Israel can go back to killing Palestinians, and Iran can go back to attacking Israel through proxies. And it takes it back to before Israel bombed the embassy. From a geopolitical point of view, that's what I think's happening here. That's why I think there is so much disinformation and misinformation going on, because both sides need it. Israel needs it and Iran needs it, so that they can go back to the point where they are not going back and forth with attacks. It's not good for the Middle East. It's not good for Israel's goals, no matter where you stand on Israel and Palestine. Okay, I'm talking Israel, Iran. Israel has different goals with Palestine, and being in conflict with Iran is not going to help achieve those goals. So if you are up and watching, go to bed, relax. Nothing is going to happen, at least not immediately, not long. There we go. Just want to play a little bit of that to kind of lead the night off, um, because it was bonkers last night, and justifiably so, because it could have led to um, led to some really bad things, which is what everybody was speculating. Everybody was speculating, even CNN. They were, okay, this is what I think is going to happen next, and then this and this and this. So it it struck me when CNN reported Iran says nothing's happened, and I watched strikes. I didn't know where they were occurring at specifically, but I knew the area they were occurring in. So I knew something was happening. And it says CNN reports Iran says nothing's happening. And it dawned on me, okay, this is not the end all. It's not the be all end all. This is the safe face saving the face saving maneuver. And woke up this morning and there's hardly any talk about what happened. The mainstream media over here has downplayed it, and I think it was a chess move. I think the United States probably promised Israel that they could go ahead and go into Rafah and try to eliminate as many of the Palestinians, Hamas Palestinians. They say they're trying to eliminate Hamas, but they've eliminated an awful lot of Palestinians. And the goal is, as we reported here a couple of days ago, they're already planning $5 billion worth of new settlements in the Gaza region for Israelis. They're trying to eliminate the focus hasn't really been on it, but they're trying to eliminate the Palestinians in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem, the three main centers: Gaza, East Jerusalem, the West Bank, the three main centers of Palestinians. They're trying to remove the Palestinians. None of the other countries seem willing to take the Palestinians in, which creates a quandary for Israel, and they're going to try to eliminate as many of them as they can, and that's just. I'm not saying that's right by any stretch of the imagination. I'm saying that's the strategy. So, why did Iran allow a limited strike that did some damages and took the course of downplaying it, saying nothing happened, so that we could go back to a little more stable point in an unstable situation? Go back to a point where it's not Israel against Iran. Okay, I think, like I said, I think the carrot for Israel was the United States says, you go into Rafah. We're not gonna, we're not gonna do anything. We're gonna pass the aid. We're gonna pass the aid. That's a key part in this, I think. The money, and wherever you're at philosophically. I'm not talking philosophy. I'm talking the geopolitical strategy part of this. That was the carrot for Israel. The aid's going to come, and you can go into Rafah, and we will, clutch our pearls, but we're not going to stop it. We're not going to vote in the UN. We're going to vote in the UN that Palestine is not allowed to become a state. That happened yesterday too. All of this. Now, for Iran, there are a lot of people, and I'm going to show you one coming up here soon. There are a lot of people in Iran that identify as Iranians, as Persian. They don't necessarily identify as Muslim as you will see coming up here soon. And while the mullahs, the leaders, the ayatollahs, um, do identify obviously as Muslim, the entire country is not that way, and there is an agitation. There is a movement within Iran to return Iran to a place of non-Muslim dominance. Okay, Iran doesn't want that, of course, and the United States could whip that up very easily with special ops. And I think Iran decided, okay, we'll end this back and forth before it gets to the point of everybody's involved, U.S., China, Russia. Because it would, as when Chris comes on, he's going to reiterate this. Taking out Iranians' nuclear facilities and capabilities at the moment is not going to be an easy thing. They're not above ground. They're in mountains and bunkers. And it would require significant efforts and probably combined efforts. I don't know if one country alone could even do it. So, that being said, the other side of the coin is this was an opportunity where Iran's nuclear capabilities could have been limited. And should they have been? Is that still to come? I think another thing that plays into all this that is not public, but I've kind of said it, I've heard it in the background a couple of months ago, that Iran had more than enough enriched uranium for at least 2 bombs. And I think they probably already have weapons. And that's a stalemate. That's a stalemate. So, Chris is here. Chris, how are you?
Pretty good, Bear. How about yourself and everyone in the audience?
I'm all right. I'm all right. The title of the show tonight is Trump falls asleep in court and poops, allegedly, and other world events. And I would just spending the first few minutes here kind of recapping my philosophy on what happened last night, what didn't happen last night, why all of that, and what it all means to that region. So, however much you were here and listening, anything you want to add or detract, or I got wrong?
Well, here's the thing. Israel never admits like when they really do anything. You see, I mean,
Right.
it's very rarely that they admit when they do something. Okay? Now we knew a strike was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but now you have to figure out who it was. Was it the United States or was it Israel? You see, now even though they said it was, we're making the assumption that it was Israel, right? But it could have been the United States as well, right? But really we don't know. So my best guess after an attack on Israel and knowing how Israelis are, they're gonna go. They're gonna return fire. Okay, they are.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say it was Israel. It would only make sense, right? It would only make
Right.
sense. Now I was listening to someone else today, and they said that they saw F-16 fighters. And someone said, well, United States uses F-16 fighters. Well, so does Israel. Who you think sells
So
them
does
their
Israel.
weapons?
They
Right.
use
So,
F-16 and F-35, if I'm not mistaken.
right, exactly.
And
So
they use
that
United
that comment,
States. They use U.S. tankers to refuel, and there were U.S. tankers in the air over Iraq last night. Just for full disclosure.
right. So, but the bottom line is the United States supported the operation, but it was not operational. You see what I'm saying? They really had nothing to do with
Pulling
the
the
attack
trigger.
itself.
Right.
That's all Israel. Beg your pardon. Yeah, exactly. That's all Israel. So people can speculate all they want, but that's an Israeli attack. Bottom line, and what they hit, I don't know. Till this till today, I don't know what was struck. You see, and I don't know what
Yeah.
their intended targets were, and they're not going to tell you. So that's what makes
And
it like really
and
difficult.
Iran's not going to tell anybody. They're telling everybody nothing happened. And
Right.
and the United States has moved on to Trump allegedly falling asleep and pooping in the courtroom, and the guy setting himself on fire outside of the courthouse where the trial's going on. So we
Yeah.
might as well
Well,
move ahead. We might as well join the circus, and let's see what. Let me get this popped up here. Here we go. For those that have not heard, yes, indeed, none of tonight. Well, I can't say none of it. I may make a joke here or there, but everything you're going to hear tonight is actually true and going on. This is a sign found near the Trump trial courthouse where the man set himself on fire, and the sign says Trump is with Biden and there's about to be a fascist coup of the U.S. Chris, the act of emulation, the act of killing yourself, setting yourself on fire as a form of protest, while rare, it is not new. Um, it was done during I remember Buddhist monks during watching it on CBS News, Buddhist monks setting themselves on fire to protest the Vietnam War. I think I'm certain somebody set themselves on fire outside the Pentagon to protest the Vietnam War. But you either have, in my opinion, you either have to be incredibly crazy or incredibly passionate about your cause to do such a thing.
We're just plain stupid because no one really cares. Right?
Yeah, but the guys.
But who really?
Go ahead.
But who really cares? And you're only hurting yourself. Bottom line, like life goes on without you, bro. Hate to break it to you. You know.
The guy's not dead, by the way. The guy's not dead.
Yeah, when you burn up.
He's really burned up. Yeah. And I got some more on him. I got some more on him in a minute coming up.
So like, does anyone really even care?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure there are people that care about him, that know him. But I'll just wait until I got something I want to play here in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, Rumble has received censorship demands from Australia, New Zealand, and other countries that infringe on everyone's human rights. We are noticing a dramatic increase in global censorship, unlike anything we've seen before. Elon Musk comes back and says that he's getting the same things. We may not be around long as far as social media online. If TikTok, which I'm not saying they should or shouldn't be taken down, I don't know. But if that is a precedent and government decides they're going to control social media, we may not be around long. So maybe we need to exercise our First Amendment rights while we can. But I find this very, very troubling. And this comes again, Australia and New Zealand. The 16-year-old Muslim kid stabbed the priest during services down there in Australia.
Yeah.
And people were commenting on social media, and a police representative came out and said the police are the source of the truth, and there will be no social media comments on this matter. And they started arresting people that were commenting on that matter. People in Great Britain have been arrested based on their social media posts commenting on the Israeli-Palestinian war in Gaza. You'd think it would never happen here, but how close are we to something like that happening here?
Well, if it's happened there, it's going to happen here too. You know?
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So,
that's what I'm saying.
And the thing about it is like, do you really think people are going to put up with that? Like your word is the only word. You see, the police. No. You're saying that the police have monopoly, and they can say what they're saying. You're supposed to believe it.
Yeah, I think I've got the clip. I think I've got the clip further down the scroll, but I don't remember for sure if I saved it. But yeah, that's what's happening, as hard as it is to believe. Chris, China is building a new outpost on the United States doorstep. Leaked documents reveal Chinese investment in critical infrastructure, including ports, airports, and water systems, are turning Antigua, once considered part of America's backyard, into China's front yard. Antigua, right on the doorstep of Haiti. And again,
yep.
this is why we focus on Haiti as much as we do. The humanitarian absolutely is primary, but the strategic value of Haiti, we ought to be aware enough to, treat Haiti like a valued ally instead of a stepson of a former ex-wife's new husband,
But and the reason we really don't focus on Haiti the way that we should, and like I said, I said this before, it was the only free black republic that came out of slavery by revolt, by revolution, by rebellion. All the rest of the country, all the rest of the Caribbean countries, you don't even have the problems that Haiti does. Okay? Don't even have the problems that Haiti does.
No.
You see? But like I said before, Haiti is the anomaly to the baseline. Right? And no, Haiti's not going to get the recognition and the attention it deserves because of what has transpired there over the years since 1804. Okay, well, actually 1791 to 1804. Right, so the Haiti's not going to get that attention, but Russia and China are going to start giving it more attention because they know now. And you know what? The United States is not as smart as they think they are by not dealing with Guy Philippe and Cherizier. And if, like I said, if they end up overthrowing that government, Cherizier and Philippe are going to be dealing with China and Russia. And they're going to kick the United States out.
Here's Western countries are not giving the help Antigua needed, Brown said. I see China, though, as a country that stands on truth and a country that, at least has some level of empathy for small states and generally for poor and dispossessed globally. That this ought to be a wake-up call. for the U.S. If not for, humanitarian, which ought to be number one priority, for regional stability, for our own best interest. We ought to be making sure Haiti is the people of Haiti are happy with Haiti and happy with the United States, whatever that takes, whatever that means, whatever that looks like. Because if we don't, like you said, Russia or China will.
Exactly. And that's all they're waiting on. Like that's all they're waiting on. They're gonna wait for Cherizier and Guy Philippe to eventually, like I said, overthrow the government. And once that occurs, they're gonna step foot in, and they'll be and I'm pretty sure Russia and China have already reached out to them.
I'm sure they have too.
They would have had to.
Yeah.
Right. And they're they're doing what they have to do to get things lined up now, because ultimately, like I said, they're gonna put the U.S. out. They're gonna put France out, right? They're gonna put Canada out, especially Russia. You've seen what they've done to France on the continent of Africa, right?
Right. And France is not happy about that. I don't have it. I saw a French military leader said within 10 years France will be reestablished and thriving in Africa. So they're planning a recolonization, basically, if we're all still around. The armored headquarters and a major base of Popular Mobilization Forces, PMF, in the Babylon Governorate of Eastern Iraq, south of Baghdad, reportedly been targeted by several unknown airstrikes, causing a massive munitions cook-off, which can be seen here. So, Chris, do you think I'm right that we are back to where there's not really an immediate threat of either Iran eradicating Israel or Israel eradicating Iran?
Well, it like I said, it can go both ways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Neither one of them has to be standing. Neither one of them has to be standing. You see?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Biblically, I don't think Yah is going to let anything happen. I know Yah's not going to let anything happen to, like, Jerusalem. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not going to happen. Okay, that's just not going to happen.
We've been.
So I go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just.
Yeah,
we've been talking.
That's.
Go ahead.
Yeah. That's just. It's just. That's biblical. Okay. And because of what Jerusalem represents, nothing's going to happen to Jerusalem at all. Okay, it's just not. Maybe to certain parts of Israel, maybe, but just nothing to Jerusalem.
Unless God does it, because there's supposed to be a massive earthquake at one point in splitting Jerusalem.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
U.S. Air. We've talked about direct energy weapons before, and here we have the U.S. Air Force secretly developed some missiles that could obliterate Iran's nuclear facilities by zapping their electronics without harming any civilians, according to the Daily Mail. So, are we starting? Is it at the point where we're starting to show deterrence with, we're starting to let some secrets out of the bag to show deterrence other than in a nuclear fashion, or in an even possibly more damaging than a nuclear fashion by these direct energy weapons?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that on the show, and
yeah,
that's pretty significant stuff.
Here's the clip. Australian police. Go ahead, finish up with that. I've got a couple of more things on.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with direct energy weapons, I really have to research it so I can talk a little bit with more intelligence, or intelligently
yeah.
about it. So I don't.
Those of us that have been investigating it, it's always been, for decade, it's been, you're a conspiracy theorist. Shut up. They don't do that. They wouldn't do that. Now we're finding out, oh yeah, well, they're doing all of that. Here's the clip.
Yep.
The Australian police officer, police will be the source of truth and not social media and misinformation. And
so you're supposed to listen to the police, huh? Okay.
here's the statement in its entirety.
I also want to stress that there is misinformation being communicated across social media, and people should not share any of that information. The source of information should be from police and law enforcement authorities. And if people have concerns, they should check our websites, our socials, and any other direct news from law enforcement about current information. If we have current credible information about any risk or threat to the community, we will let them know. We will share that with the community. So please be assured that police will be the source of truth and not social media and misinformation.
There you go. That's not going to go over well here, Chris.
No, it's not. I can't believe it's going to go well over down there.
I don't think it will either. Okay, like in Nusrat, like in Zaytan, like in Darja Tofa, like in Shifa, also in Rafah. An Israeli occupation commander urges soldiers to prepare themselves for a ground invasion into Rafah, as they did in other parts of Gaza. Do you, I mean, we've seen this coming. I think the United States is going to be hands off as part of a negotiation that Israel didn't try to do a bigger strike on Iran from a, governmental, not non-military aspect of it. But this is going to be horrendous, Chris. This is going to be devastating. Everybody's been saying it's going to be the end of the Israeli army at some point because all of the Arab countries are going to attack. I don't think that's going to happen. Do you still think that's a possibility?
It's going to happen, but later on, all the Arab countries, they will attack Israel, but later on down the line. Right now, they're not.
With Iran after the United States has fallen, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No. Hear me out.
Okay.
You have Turkey that said they're getting ready to invade Gaza. Is that correct?
Yeah. I don't know how.
We have. Well, like I said, all I have to do is really come through Egypt and come north. You see?
Yeah, but how would a big enough invasion force? I got the map up here now. Okay, we're talking about Turkey. Would they come right across the Med to Egypt and then up to?
Because all you have to really do is just come south, come to Egypt, and if Egypt gives you permission, just travel north. And honestly, it's right there.
Yeah.
You cross the border.
Yeah. Right here.
You get into Egypt and cross the border, and you're right in Gaza. You see?
Interesting. Okay. Before the next time I do an episode, I'm going to be doing a little deeper dive into Turkey. Again, hold on. I think Turkey and India will be huge where they come down as far as how things play out once the global thing kicks off. However much harder it's going to kick off than it is now, which it will, but nonetheless, yeah, they just come right across. What that's probably an hour 45-minute flight straight across, drop troops off and head in, and then just start a trail. Then you got to then shipping's disrupted, including oil, because you got a sea battle going on because we've got submarines over there. Yeah, that's for another episode, but we won't war game it out here. But yeah, that's a great point. Turkey needs to be considered more than I possibly have at this time. Let's go back. And yeah, if Israel goes into Rafah's the red line. Turkey gets involved. Other Arab countries could get involved.
Yep.
I don't know if I should play this or not. I've got an Iranian man perfectly summarizes how the entire country is feeling, and it's a very colorful language warning. I played it for a friend of mine. I played it for my friend Mel. Mel was over earlier, and he was laughing his head off at this. But the words are, wait, he's not speaking English, so you're not going to hear. You have to read the, and I'm afraid I'll get taken out for abusive language or something if I actually play it. But this Iranian guy's basically telling the mullahs that Iran has had enough, that they're Persian. They're Persian first, and they're not all Muslim, and they don't want to be treated like Muslims. How
Right.
big of a movement is that in Iran, Chris? Do you have any idea?
How big of a movement? What about them being Persian and not Muslim?
About them wanting the ayatollahs, the mullahs, wanting them gone.
I didn't know about that at all. I was totally unaware of that.
All right, I'll play a little bit of this. I'm going to turn I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. And I'm going to give a warning to everybody right now. The C word is used by this guy. This guy uses just about every word you could imagine that I cannot give a strong enough offensive language for this. So I'm only going to play a minute of it, and it's primarily to give Chris an idea of how some people in Iran are feeling.
Barry, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here, Chris. Oh,
okay, all right.
I played that. Okay, somebody just texted me. I'm sure they're telling me it's not on the screen.
Right.
Here we go. All right. Thank you. I apologize there. Trying to do everything at once. My bad.
من یه سوالی دارم از شما آخوندهای کوته و کودن. شما مادر جنده های کسکش متوجه این نشدین که اسلام چجوری وارد ایران شد؟ اسلام فکر کردید مثلا اون عثمان بود، کدوم کسکشی بود، با شکلات و شیرینی و گل اومد دم مرز گفت ببخشید مزاحم میشم، این یه بروشور جدیده که برای اسلامه، اگه میشه لطف کنین یه 2-3 روز وقت بذارین و مطالعه کنین، اگه خوشتون اومد ما برمیگردیم و شما رو میتونین مسلمان بکنین. اینم یه جایی یه جا مسجد ساخته، میتونین با ما بیان برین دعا کنین. آخه کسکشای مادر جنده، میدونین اسلام چجوری وارد ایران شد؟ با قتل و تجاوز و شمشیر و یه مش کسکش کوندریده از ته اون فاکین عربستان و اینا، از تو صحرا یه مش گشنه کوندریده حمله کردن، مملکت ما رو گرفتن، یا کشتنمون اگه مسلمون نمیشدیم، یا اونایی هم که از ترس مردن به زور مسلمونمون کردن. خار کشتهای عربزاده کونکش مسلمون نبود که. حالا شما کسکشا 1400 سال میخواین کیر عربا رو اینجوری بخورین. ما هیچ موردی نداریم. ما اون ایرانی که میخوایم یه ایرانیه که توش هر کی میخواد هر دینی داشته باشه. میخوای مسلمون باشی مسلمون باش، میخوای انقدر دلاراش تو کمرت بشکنه بکن، ما بهت کاری نداریم. میخوای زرتشتی باش، میخوای کلیمی باش، میخوای مسیحی باش، میخوای لامذهب باش، چونلخ بیای بیرون باش. ما کاری به هیچ کسی نداریم. ما یه مملکتی میخوایم که همه توش آزاد باشن. کوروش 2500 سال پیش این مملکت اینجوری داشت، هر کسی هر دینی میخواست میتونش داشته باشه. شما کسکشای مادر جنده 1400 ساله دارین کیر عربا رو میخورین. مادر جنده ها، ما که واسه چی ایزاد بیاید بغل ماها با ما همکاری کنیم؟ 2 راه بیشتر نداریم. کسکشا، ما به مسلمونیتون هیچ کاری نداریم. میخواین مسلمون باشین به تخم و چپ من، ولی زور نمیتونین به ما مسلمونمون بکنین. 1400 سال سعی کردین نمیتونین. ماها ایرونین کسکشا، ایرونی. ماها چهارشنبه سوری داریم، ماها عید داریم، ماها نوروز داریم، ماها ایرونیم کسکشا. ماها یه عالمه آدم با شعور و با سواد و با فرهنگ داریم، ما تاریخ داریم. شما کسکشا همونجوری اون کی رو بخوریم مال عربا رو. ما نمیخوایم. هر کسی هم میخواد مسلمون بمونه فدای سرمون، بهش هم احترام میذاریم، کاری هم به کارشون نداریم، ولی زور نمیتونیم به ما بگیم کسکشا.
There we go. Not all Arab or not all Iranians are happy, Chris, with what's happening in Iran. Your thoughts?
It's just here's the thing. Not everyone's gonna be happy with the way governments are run, and that's universal. You see, that's all over the world. People only have gripes no matter what. Okay, so that's I'm sure there's probably millions of people in Iran that are like that, you know. But what are you really going to do to change it? You can bitch and complain all you want, but what ways are you going to fix it? If you can't, if you don't have any solutions to the problem, don't complain.
But if you bitch about something that you see is wrong, and maybe other people see it's wrong too, but haven't had the courage to say anything, then eventually, if you get enough people bitching, you can change things potentially. But have we passed that point? I'm going to say, have we passed that point, man? Or are we done?
Well, you know, like, are you talking here in the United States, or are we talking globally? because you can only go but so far that stuff in Iran before they come find you. You see?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
even though we have freedom of speech and we can say and supposedly kind of do what we want in the United States, some countries aren't like that. You see? So if I were him, I would kind of be, I'd be a little bit leery and a little bit cautious of what he says, because sometimes these governments like to make examples out of people. And I like to take that example back to Nigeria. Um, when I was working over there was a guy who had a dog, and he named him Buhari, right after President Buhari, and like he didn't like his dog or anything like this. Well, anyway, somehow the word got out, and it got back to the presidential palace. It got back to President Buhari, and before he actually became a president, I'd say maybe like in maybe the 80s or 70s, he was a dictator to that country. You see, so and then eventually he became the president of Nigeria, but prior to, he was a dictator. So anyway, he found out that and this is when he was president of Nigeria. Anyway, he found out that this guy was named his dog Buhari, and he sent security forces to find this guy, and he ended up killing him. So I'm just saying that to say that it's like you got to be careful about what you say, even though you may think it's a democracy. Well, Iran is not a democracy,
right?
It used to be,
right?
It used to be under Mossadegh,
and that was the guy,
right?
And that was the guy's point. We want Iran back the way it used to be, where everybody could be who they wanted, and you're forcing, you either become Muslim or die. And how many times have we heard that, Chris?
Yep. But what the bottom line is, he did that to make an example. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And this Iranian guy, kind of needs just to be a little bit more careful and selective about the things that he says, because you don't want those Iranian security forces coming to find you and, hey, how you doing? And then your last scene. So that's all.
All right. Pennsylvania voter says, quote, if it's a Biden and Trump race, I would vote for Biden even if he's dead, and I'm a Republican. This only takes about 20 seconds here. I found this rather because the guy's adamant about it.
Is there any chance you would stay at home on election day?
No. I love American democracy too much that Biden and Trump, if it's a Biden and Trump race, then I would vote for Biden even if he was dead.
No chance I'd stay home.
And I'm a Republican.
Is there any?
And the guy next to him was getting ready to say the same thing. There's no chance I'd stay home. The Trump people have convinced themselves that Trump's going to win. If Trump doesn't win, it's stolen. I personally, my personal opinion is neither one of them is going to be president, and I'm not even sure we'll get to an election. But if we do get to an election, is there any possible way we can do without violence, Chris? I don't see it. Tell me
without violence.
I'm wrong.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. Oh, there's going to be violence no matter what. I promise you that. I promise you that. You're not going to be able to get away from that at all.
I found it odd that two different things were released today. One, that they let it out that we have a missile that is basically a direct energy weapon missile that could potentially neutralize Iranian nuclear facilities just by taking out their electronics and not causing any damage to humans or the landscape. The U.S. Defense Department has created an AI flown fighter jet. It's the X-62A that can defeat human pilots in dogfights. AI technology is developing so rapidly and has become so much potential that many of us cannot even imagine. And not only it says uh, can defeat most pilots, but what they didn't tell you was not a single U.S. pilot has been able to defeat it in a dogfight, and I find that rather alarming. But maybe they haven't had time.
Does everyone remember the movie Terminator and Skynet?
Yeah, I do.
Remember that?
I do. Yeah. Skynet. Yeah.
That was about AI. That was all about AI. Right.
What was the kid's name? John something. John Connor.
Yeah.
John Connor.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. So this whole AI thing, it's like they had this thing predicted back was that in the 80s when Terminator first came out? The whole series?
Yeah. Yeah, back in the early 80s.
So,
when the first Terminator came out.
Right. So this whole AI thing, and you see how it turned on man. It turned on the humans.
Mm-hmm. Could have been predictive programming.
Right. So it's just like, and I don't I really don't even understand why people would even
try to take us there
in a computer. Right. Would even put trust in a computer. Like, artificial intelligence, you put trust in it? Nah, not me. Like, it's driving cars. I'll just be like, now what happens if this thing gets, a mind of its own and starts like, you're driving over a bridge and he just decides to run to the guardrail and
and then into oncoming traffic. Or you go up a bridge. Tom Cruise.
Even on planes. What about planes?
Well, Tom Cruise could defeat the AI plane. I don't know if anybody else could, but I have faith in Tom Cruise all day.
So the whole even with that, they said they're going to start moving pilots off of planes and letting AI take care of it. I'm like, no, thank you.
Thank you. I think it's like an F. I think they're calling it like the F-335A. The F-35s. They're trying to modify them so that they can be AI controlled.
That's all bad. That is all
bad. Okay. This is Max Zellerow. He's the man who set himself on fire today, Chris. I got 2 clips from him. This is the first one.
Start a fucking revolution. Start a fucking revolution. Start a fucking revolution. You've got nothing to lose. Start.
Okay, this is the second.
Hey, want to learn the biggest secret in the world? In March 2023, sketchy billionaire Peter Thiel started a bank run. I did 1,500 hours of research, and I learned all their rotten secrets. The big one is that cryptocurrency is history's first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. That's an economic doomsday device. And when that Ponzi goes insolvent, as all Ponzis must, we'll get the worst economic collapse in world history. And every powerful person you can think of is in on it. Want to know why everything gets worse and more expensive? It's because we live in a secret kleptocracy. That's when the government gets taken over by con artists whose only job is to steal from the public. And I hope you know this is wonderful news, because now that the public knows about the secret kleptocracy, they get to abolish their criminal government. Follow for more, or read this booklet, and you will bend history.
Okay, now I want to add this one thing before I come to you, Chris. I played this either yesterday or the day before. This is Jamie Dimon, the CEO of what's he the CEO of? JP Morgan. And here's what he says.
Crypto.
If you mean crypto like Bitcoin, I've always said it's a fraud.
No hope for it.
Well, if they think they're a currency, there's no hope for it. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a public decentralized Ponzi.
Okay. So this guy that set himself on fire today, Chris, felt so strongly about no, where'd he do it? There we go. Did I run it? Okay. This guy that set himself on fire today to draw attention to what he was trying to tell people tells us that crypto is a Ponzi scheme that don't have any faith in this upcoming centralized banking system, that all money is going to be electronic. Crypto sucking trillions of dollars out of the traditional monetary circulation. And both the CEO of JP Morgan and the guy that sets himself on fire tells us it's nothing but a Ponzi scheme and it's going to collapse. That to me is a warning, a trigger sign for everything we've been seeing as far as other outside entities' efforts to devalue the dollar. And I'm not sure people understand how potentially significant that is. And I think this guy set himself on fire, so we try to pay attention.
Well, I don't think anyone really cares. Truthfully, you see,
they're not going to care until the economy is gone.
That's the reality. Right. I mean, and even then,
it's sad. I know you're right. Yeah. What are they going to do? What are people going to do when the dollar is worthless? When I know what they're going to do. Never mind. I saw the movie last week. A witness has come forward to testify that Matt Gaetz was seen at a party where cocaine and other illegal substances were being used, and that party included a minor who Gaetz allegedly slept with. And Kevin McCarthy says, "I'll give you the truth why I'm not Speaker of the House anymore. It's because Matt Gaetz slept with a 17-year-old. So look, I'm just playing this so everybody can be prepared. There's his statement, and I was paraphrasing. I'm showing you all this to be prepared because that's coming next week. Matt Gaetz is going to be in the news next week, either as being ousted from the House or being under investigation, and possibly the relaunch of a criminal investigation. This guy, again, he set himself on fire outside the Trump trial. He left a manifesto, I guess, calls it the Ponzi Papers, trying to get people to pay attention. And like Chris said, it's a sad state of affairs, but I think you're right. People aren't going to pay attention. Man armed with explosives, grenades, and suicide belt entered
No.
the Iranian consulate in Paris and threatened to detonate himself, prompting the French security force to surround the building. The guy has since been has been arrested and did not blow himself up. He was holding the Iranian ambassador to France hostage. And Iranian broadcaster shows that Isfahan is not impacted. The city's completely calm. Security. People are going on with their normal lives. 1 or 2 hours ago, sounds were heard in the sky. We understand several miniature UAVs were overhead, which were shot down. So that's the story, and that's the official story in Iran. I'm going to save this and that. Chris, this is one of those stories that is so disgusting. But here it is. Georgia man Jeremy Williams sentenced to death for paying a mother $2,500 to rape her 5-year-old daughter and then murder her. Man, jurors reported started crying during the trial when they were shown videos of Williams raping the 5-year-old and police cam of them finding her body. When I say it's a dark world, dude, it's a dark world. And finally, our headline: Donald Trump fell asleep in court at his hush money trial, according to Maggie Haberman. The third time Sleepy Don has fallen asleep in court this week. And the other big allegations are that he pooped his pants after passing gas several times. And I'll just leave it at that and be thankful that we don't have smell-o-vision. So Chris, next week, Monday night at 9, are you going to be?
Yeah, if anything changes, I'll be sure to let you know.
Please do. Okay. Otherwise, we'll see you next Monday night at 9, and we'll take it from there. I want to let everybody know that Thursday is the NFL draft. Do you follow football, Chris?
I do.
Let's see. Ravens? Are you a Ravens fan or
I hate Ravens.
Commanders?
I
Hate the Ravens?
I cannot
Commanders?
stand- I don't like anything from Baltimore, period. Nothing.
Okay. Commanders? Are you a Commanders fan?
Okay, so
Or-
I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's why we're
the gold and black.
yeah. So I'm a Steelers fan. That's
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Hey,
that's where I was born, and I'm a Washingtonian now, but I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, and, moved out, but like Steelers, I grew up on the Steelers, with Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Lynn Swan, John Stallworth,
Lynn Swan.
Joe Green.
Lynn Swan, the catches Lynn Swan made were some of the most graceful, athletic plays I've ever seen, and it was done in such a brutal setting as football. I absolutely loved it. John Hamm,
Yeah.
on the defense.
You had Rocky Blyer,
Me,
Michael
Joe
Harris.
Green.
Yep. L.C. Greenwood, the Steel Curtain.
Yeah,
Keith,
yeah.
that's, Mel Blunt, Donnie Shell.
Yeah. Jack
all of them.
Lambert.
Yep.
Jack Lambert with his teeth out. Yeah. Yeah. So now, okay, Steelers now, you've got Russell Wilson and you got Justin Fields. Okay. I grew up a Bears fan because, we had 3 channels on the TV and the only football was either Chicago or the Cleveland Browns. and we didn't
Wow.
get the Browns that often. So I watched Chicago Bears every Sunday, and I will forever be a Bears fan. And trading Justin Fields, I understand them wanting to get the, Calais Campbell and start blah blah blah, but I don't think trading Justin Fields was the right move. And I think you guys are set for a run.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it plays. We'll see how pans out.
I mean, TJ Watt, as long as he's healthy, he's the best defensive player on the planet.
Yeah, that's the you have to keep you have to remember we want to keep all our players healthy, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's day by day, man, because actually week by week, because you don't know what's going to happen, So just as long as they stay healthy, and we'll see what happens during preseason, how they look, and go from there.
Yeah. Well, as a Bears fan, I've had one good year. Really, 1985 was the only year I've a lot of misery after that. And then the Colts come to Indy from Baltimore. So, in the 80s, I had to become a Colts fan too. And I'm all right. I invested in the Colts. So Thursday night, I'm going to have a watch the draft show. And it's going to be, my buddy Mel's going to come over, and we're going to watch the draft. And you can watch us watch the draft and comment along with us if you so desire. And Chris, if you want to hop on with us, man, let me know.
Okay, for sure.
And I'm going to have one of the laptops the laptop is going to be on the Pat McAfee show, because Pat McAfee show is going to have Bill Belichick as their special host for the night. And I think it's fascinating. I think it'll be fascinating to hear what Belichick says about the draft, especially since he's not in it for the first time in 49 years. And then I'll have the NFL Network up on the screen. We're not going to break any copyrights. We're not going to show you we're going to talk about it, and you'll see us talking about it. You might see us partaking of some CBD, which is perfectly fine. And maybe even a shot of whiskey or two, depending on how Thursday goes. So that's what's happening Thursday. I'll be here Monday night for sure. Chris may be here. Again, things are kicking off, and time for Chris to make money. You still there, man?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what goes on.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, things are heating up, and we still have to be concerned about Ukraine and Russia, and then China, Taiwan. Right now it's just too much focus on this Israel.
Yeah. North Korea, South Korea.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I haven't even mentioned Argentina wants to join NATO. Did you hear that?
I didn't know. I don't know. I don't know why they want to join NATO. NATO's like getting ready to go away.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think it is?
Yeah. NATO's going to be going away here very soon. So,
all right.
I don't know why.
Let's talk about that next episode. That's a teaser.
For sure.
Next episode will be is NATO going away? All right. Real quick before we say goodbye, let me say hello to Echo Romeo, Lori Arnold, VG, Peace, Love, and Sunshine says, "Go Bears, duh, Bears." Ditka, yeah. The absolute dumbest draft move in history after he left the Bears and went to the Saints and traded his entire draft, all of his draft picks for Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams was good, but that was stupid. Anyway, I love the Bears, always will. I go back to Gale Sayers, Butkus. Yeah, way back. So, all right. Chris, thank you, man. Thank you for being here. And if all goes well, we'll
thank you
see.
for having me on your show.
Always, man. Things go well. We'll see you Monday.
For sure.
All right. There we go. That's Chris, everybody. He will be back with us Monday. You know, everything is kind of, you know, so many things that can happen. Who would have thought last night that we'd be talking today about somebody setting themselves on fire in front of a trial of a former president, and all the other things we've been talking about on here. And anyway, thank you all for being here. Greatly appreciated. If you're watching at your own convenience, leave me a comment below. Thank you, everybody that's been in the chat. Love you all. Thank you all for watching that aren't in the chat. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share, so you'll know when we will be back on, because we'll hop on, even if it's just for like a 3 or 4 minute recorded thing. If something happens of significance, we'll get on here so that people are aware that otherwise might not be. And we greatly appreciate and love all of you. It is a dark world. Do try to be a light. I wish you nothing but peace. Love you all. Just a tiny, tiny bit less than I love chocolate chip cookies. And consider that a great compliment. Consider that a great. All right. Thanks for watching. It's a dark world. Be a light. It's Eyes Open on the American Doofus channel.